I had a strange feeling about my daughter and son-in-law, so I pretended to check into a hospital for heart tests. Before I left, I installed a tiny camera inside the antique clock on my office wall. While I was sitting in my car across the street watching the building, my secretary walked out during her lunch break. She spotted me and came over. She leaned into my window and whispered, "Mr. Henderson, come back at 6:30 tonight. That is when you will see everything." When 6:30 came, I watched the live feed on my phone and my chest tightened so hard I thought I was actually having the heart attack I had faked. 71 years on this earth teaches you things. It teaches you to read people, to notice what others miss, to trust your gut even when your heart wants to believe otherwise. And that Monday morning, when I walked into the headquarters of Henderson Construction in downtown Houston, my gut was screaming. The elevator doors opened on the 14th floor. Everything looked normal. The receptionist smiled at me. The coffee machine hummed in the break room. But something was wrong. I could feel it in my bones the way old ranchers feel rain coming before a single cloud appears. I walked to my corner office, the one with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Houston skyline. I built this company from nothing. 43 years ago, I started with one pickup truck and a toolbox. Now Henderson Construction has over 800 employees, contracts across Texas and Louisiana, and a reputation that took decades to build. I sat down at my desk and noticed it immediately. My coffee mug, the one my late wife gave me 30 years ago, was on the wrong side. I always keep it to the left of my computer. Always. For 30 years. Now it was on the right. I opened my top drawer. The folders inside were out of order. I organized them alphabetically. Now they were random. Someone had gone through them. I checked my filing cabinet. The lock was intact, but the papers inside had been disturbed. My personal contracts, my insurance documents, my will. Someone had read them. Someone had put them back carelessly, thinking I would not notice. But I notice everything. That is how you survive 43 years in the construction business in Texas. I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. Who had access to this office? My secretary, Patricia, who has been with me for 25 years. My CFO, Harold, a 70-year-old man who has been my friend since high school. My project manager, Tom, who I trust with my life. And my daughter, Christine, 42 years old, MBA from Rice University. Married to Derek, a 45-year-old real estate developer with expensive taste and a smile that never quite reaches his eyes. I did not want to think it was her, but the signs were there. Last Sunday at dinner, Christine had asked me strange questions. We were at her house in River Oaks, sitting around her fancy dining table with the crystal chandelier overhead. "Dad, have you thought about retiring?" she asked while cutting into her steak. "Retiring? Why would I retire?" "Well, you are 71. You have worked your whole life. Maybe it is time to slow down. Enjoy your golden years." Derek nodded beside her, that fake smile plastered on his face. "Christine is right, Frank. You have earned it. Let the younger generation take over." "The younger generation?" "Well, Christine grew up in the business. She knows it inside and out. She could run Henderson Construction, give you a chance to relax." I looked at my daughter. She would not meet my eyes. "I am not ready to retire," I said. "But Dad, what if something happens to you? A man your age, working these hours. You should have a succession plan. You should have someone ready to step in." "I have a succession plan. It is called me continuing to run my company." Christine frowned. Derek's smile flickered for just a second. Then dinner continued as if nothing had happened. But I remembered. I remembered the look they exchanged when they thought I was not watching. I remembered the way Derek's hand tightened on his wine glass. I remembered Christine's disappointed sigh. And now, sitting in my office, with my things disturbed, I knew something was wrong. I picked up my phone and called Patricia. "Yes, Mr. Henderson?" "Patricia, can you come to my office, please?" She appeared at my door 30 seconds later. 60 years old, silver hair pulled back in a neat bun, reading glasses hanging from a chain around her neck. Patricia had been my right hand since the company was small enough to fit in a single trailer. "Close the door," I said. She did. She sat down across from me. "Patricia, has anyone been in my office after hours?" She hesitated. Just for a second, but I caught it. "Patricia." She took a deep breath. "Mr. Henderson." I did not want to say anything because I was not sure. "Tell me, your daughter has been coming in late, after everyone leaves, usually around 7 or 8 in the evening. She says she is picking up paperwork, but she goes straight to your office. She stays for about an hour each time. How many times? 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Always with Derek. And last Thursday, they brought someone else. A man in a suit. He was carrying a briefcase. My heart sank. A lawyer? I think so. He had that look. I sat in silence for a long moment. Thank you, Patricia. Please do not mention this conversation to anyone. Of course, Mr. Henderson. She paused at the door. Mr. Henderson, I have known Christine since she was a little girl. I do not want to believe she would do anything to hurt you. But something is not right. I can feel it. I can feel it too. After she left, I made a decision. I needed proof. I could not confront Christine with suspicions. She would deny everything. Derek would back her up, and I would look like a paranoid old man who distrusts his own family. I needed to see what they were doing with my own eyes. I drove to an electronics store on Westheimer Road. I bought a small camera, the kind that looks like a regular clock. It connects to Wi-Fi and streams video to your phone. I drove back to the office and replaced the antique clock on my bookshelf with the new one. I positioned it to capture my entire desk. Then I made a phone call to Christine. Dad, is everything okay? Sweetheart, I wanted to let you know I'm going to Methodist Hospital tomorrow. They want to run some tests on my heart. Just routine stuff. But they want to keep me overnight for observation. There was a pause. Then, oh, Dad, are you okay? Is it serious? No, just precautionary. You know how doctors are at my age. They want to check everything. Well, that is probably a good idea. You have been working so hard lately. You need to take care of yourself. I will be at the hospital for a couple of days. Do not worry about me. Okay, Dad. Let me know if you need anything. I hung up. I could hear it in her voice. Relief. Excitement barely contained. The moment she thought I was out of the way, she would make her move. The next morning, I packed a small bag and left my house. But I did not go to the hospital. I drove to a hotel on the other side of downtown, a place where no one would recognize me. I checked in under a fake name, paying cash. I sat in my room and opened the camera app on my phone. The feed showed my empty office, sunlight streaming through the windows, my desk, my chair, everything quiet. I waited. The hours crawled by. I ordered room service. I watched the news. I checked the camera every few minutes. Nothing. At noon, I got restless. I drove to the office building and parked across the street where I could see the entrance. That is when Patricia came out for her lunch break. She saw my car. She walked over. She leaned into my window. Mr. Henderson, what are you doing here? I thought you were at the hospital. I am not at the hospital, Patricia. I am watching. She understood immediately. She nodded slowly. Come back at 6:30 tonight, she whispered. That is when they have been coming. That is when you will see everything. I drove back to the hotel. I tried to eat dinner, but the food tasted like cardboard. At 6 o'clock, I opened the camera app and kept it on. At 6:27, the door to my office opened. Christine walked in first. She was wearing a business suit, her blonde hair pulled back severely. Behind her came Derek, his expensive Italian shoes clicking on the hardwood floor, and behind him came a man I did not recognize. Gray suit, gray hair, leather briefcase, a lawyer. They sat down at my desk, like they owned the place. Christine opened my filing cabinet with a key she should not have had. She pulled out folders. My contracts, my property deeds, my will. Derek spread documents on the desk. The lawyer took out papers from his briefcase. They talked. I could not hear what they were saying, but I could see enough. Christine pointed at specific lines in documents. Derek nodded eagerly. The lawyer made notes, and then I saw something that stopped my heart. Derek handed Christine a pen. She bent over a document, and she signed it, with my name, with my signature, forged. The lawyer examined the signature. He nodded approvingly. He pulled out a stamp and notarized the document. Christine smiled. Derek kissed her on the cheek. They high-fived like they had just won a game. I watched them sign 3 more documents, 3 more forgeries, 3 more stamps. They put everything back in the filing cabinet. They locked it. They turned off the lights. They left. I sat in my hotel room, staring at my phone, feeling like someone had reached into my chest and ripped out my heart. My daughter. My only child. The little girl I used to carry on my shoulders. The teenager I taught to drive. The woman I walked down the aisle at her wedding. She was stealing from me. She was forging my signature. She was trying to take everything I had built. I did not sleep that night. I watched the recording over and over, hoping I had misunderstood, hoping there was another explanation. But there was not. The evidence was clear. At 7 in the morning, I called my lawyer. Not the family attorney who handled my wife's estate. A different lawyer. A corporate attorney named Samuel Chen who specializes in fraud cases. I had hired him once before when a contractor tried to sue the company. He was ruthless, thorough, and absolutely loyal to whoever was paying his bill. Sam, it is Frank Henderson. I need to see you immediately. It is urgent. Frank, what is wrong? I cannot explain over the phone. Can you meet me at the Marriott downtown? Room 847. I will be there in an hour. When Sam arrived, I showed him everything. The camera footage, the disturbed documents, Patricia's observations. He watched the recording 3 times without speaking. When it ended, he leaned back in his chair. Frank, this is serious. This is fraud, forgery, possibly elder financial abuse depending on how the prosecutor wants to charge it. What are they trying to do? Based on what I see, they are trying to transfer ownership of your company. Those documents she signed look like corporate transfer papers. They are trying to give themselves control of Henderson Construction. Can they do that? Not legally. You are the sole owner. Without your genuine signature on legitimate documents, witnessed and notarized properly, they cannot take anything. But if they file these forged documents with the state, if they get them into the system before anyone catches the fraud, they could cause serious problems. It could take years and millions of dollars in legal fees to untangle. What do I do? Sam thought for a moment. First, we protect your assets. Today, right now, we are going to create a trust. We are going to transfer Henderson Construction into that trust. You will be the sole beneficiary and sole controller. That way, even if they file their forged documents, those documents will be worthless because the company will no longer be directly in your name. How long does that take? If we start now, we can have it done by end of business tomorrow. Do it. Second, Sam continued, we need to understand the full scope of what they are planning. Do you know who they might be trying to sell the company to? I thought about it. There is a company called Blackstone Development. They have been trying to buy Henderson Construction for years. They made me 3 offers. I turned them all down. Who runs Blackstone? A man named Victor Reyes. He is known for hostile takeovers. He buys family businesses, strips them down, sells off the pieces. If Christine and Derek are selling to Victor, they are probably getting a kickback, a percentage of the sale, probably in cash, off the books. My stomach turned. How much would my company sell for? Henderson Construction? On the open market, with all your contracts and equipment? Probably $18 to $20 million. But in a backroom deal like this, they are probably selling it for half that, $10 million. And they are probably keeping $2 or $3 million for themselves as a finder's fee. $10 million. My life's work, sold for a fraction of its value by my own daughter. What do we do? I asked. We let them think their plan is working. You stay hidden. You stay in this hotel. You let them believe you are in the hospital, oblivious. And when they make their final move, when they try to file those forged documents, we catch them red-handed. We call the police. We call the district attorney. We shut them down completely. And Christine? Sam looked at me with sympathy in his eyes. Frank, I know she is your daughter, but what she is doing is a crime, a serious crime. If you report this, she will face criminal charges. She could go to prison. Prison. My daughter in prison. I understand, I said. My voice sounded hollow, even to me. We spent the next 2 days working around the clock. Sam brought in a team of paralegals. We created the trust. We documented everything. We authenticated my real signature with 3 different notaries, establishing an official record that any document signed after that date without my verified presence was fraudulent. On the 3rd day, Patricia called me. Mr. Henderson, Christine just called the office. She was asking when you would be back from the hospital. I told her I did not know. What else did she say? She said she needed to get into your office to handle some paperwork while you were away. She said it was urgent company business. Let her in. Do not do anything suspicious. Just let her do whatever she wants. Yes, sir. I watched the camera feed all day. At 4 in the afternoon, Christine arrived. This time she brought a different man, not the lawyer from before. This one was younger, wearing a flashy suit and a gold watch. He had slicked back hair and the confident swagger of someone who thinks he is smarter than everyone else. Victor Reyes. I recognized him from the business pages. They sat in my office. Victor looked around approvingly, like he was already decorating the place in his mind. Christine handed him a folder of documents. The forged ones. Victor flipped through them, nodding. Then I heard Christine's voice clearly through the camera. She must have been standing close to the clock. Everything is signed. My father is in the hospital. They think it might be a stroke. He is not doing well. A stroke. She was telling people I had a stroke. Victor's voice came through next. And he does not suspect anything? He has no idea. He thinks I am his devoted daughter. He thinks Derek and I are just looking out for his interests. Victor laughed. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. When can we close? Friday. We file the papers Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, Henderson Construction belongs to Blackstone Development. And your fee? $2.5 million. Cash. Like we agreed. You will have it Monday after the transfer is complete. They shook hands. Victor left. Christine stayed behind for a moment. She looked around my office, my desk, my chair, my view, and she smiled. A cold, triumphant smile. Then she left. I sat in my hotel room, trembling. Not with fear, with rage. My daughter was telling people I had a stroke. My daughter was selling my company for $2.5 million in bribe money. My daughter was planning to steal everything I had built over 43 years. I called Sam. Friday, I said. They are filing the papers Friday morning. Good. We will be ready. I am going to coordinate with the district attorney tomorrow. When they show up at the county clerk's office to file those documents, the police will be waiting. I want to be there. Frank, are you sure? This is going to be your daughter in handcuffs. I want to be there. Thursday night, I did not sleep at all. I sat by the window of my hotel room, looking out at the Houston skyline, thinking about everything. 42 years ago, when Christine was born, I held her in my arms and promised I would give her the world. When my wife died 15 years ago, I promised I would protect Christine forever. When she married Derek, I had my doubts, but I kept them to myself because I wanted her to be happy. Where did I go wrong? When did the little girl who used to help me on construction sites turn into this stranger who would steal from her own father? Maybe it was Derek's influence. Maybe he filled her head with greed, with entitlement, with the belief that she deserved my money without earning it. Or maybe it was me. Maybe I worked too hard, spent too much time building the company, instead of building a relationship with my daughter. Maybe I gave her everything she wanted, instead of teaching her to work for what she needed. It did not matter anymore. The reasons did not matter. What mattered was the truth. And the truth was that Christine had made her choice. She chose to betray me. She chose to steal from me. She chose to lie about my health to make her scheme easier. Now I would make my choice. Friday morning, I put on my best suit. I drove to Sam's office. We rode together to the county clerk's building on Congress Street. When we arrived, 2 unmarked police cars were already parked outside. Sam had coordinated everything with the district attorney. We went inside. We waited in a side office, out of sight. At 10:15, Christine walked through the front door. Derek was beside her. The lawyer from before followed behind, carrying a folder of documents. They approached the counter. The clerk smiled at them. "We would like to file some corporate transfer documents," Christine said. Her voice was confident, smooth. The clerk took the folder. She started reviewing the papers. That was when Sam nodded to the police officers. 4 officers in plain clothes approached from different directions. One of them showed his badge. "Christine Henderson, Derek Miller, Robert Chambers, you are all under arrest for fraud, forgery, and elder financial abuse. Please put your hands behind your back." Christine's face went white. Derek started shouting. The lawyer tried to run, but an officer caught him at the door. I stepped out of the side office. Christine saw me. Her eyes went wide. "Dad, but you are supposed to be in the hospital." "There was no hospital, Christine. There was never a hospital. I know everything." "Dad, I can explain. This is all a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding? I watched you forge my signature. I watched you plan to sell my company. I heard you tell Victor Reyes that I had a stroke." Derek lunged toward me. "You old fool. You ruined everything." 2 officers grabbed him and forced him against the wall. They cuffed his hands behind his back. Christine started crying. "Daddy, please. I am your daughter. I made a mistake. Please do not do this. I looked at her, at this stranger wearing my daughter's face. You made a choice, Christine. Not a mistake. A choice. And choices have consequences. The officers led them out of the building. I watched them put my daughter in the back of a police car. I watched Derek get shoved into another car, still screaming profanities. I watched the lawyer sit in silence, his career destroyed. Sam put a hand on my shoulder. Are you okay, Frank? No, I said, but I will be. The trial lasted 4 months. Christine's lawyers tried every trick in the book. They claimed she was manipulated by Derek. They claimed she did not understand what she was signing. They claimed I was a controlling father who drove her to desperation. But the evidence was overwhelming. The camera footage, the forged signatures, the recorded conversations. Victor Reyes was arrested too, and he made a deal with prosecutors to testify against Christine in exchange for a reduced sentence. In the end, the jury took only 3 hours to reach a verdict. Guilty on all counts. Christine was sentenced to 6 years in state prison. Derek got 8 years because of his prior fraud convictions that came out during the trial. The lawyer got 5 years and was disbarred permanently. I was in the courtroom when the judge read the sentence. Christine looked at me one last time before they took her away. There were tears in her eyes. But I saw something else too. Anger, resentment, blame. She still thought this was my fault. I did not cry. I had done my crying months ago, alone in that hotel room, watching my daughter betray me on a tiny phone screen. Now I felt only emptiness. 6 months after the sentencing, I received a letter from the prison. From Christine. I did not open it for a week. It sat on my desk, haunting me. Finally, one night, I opened it. Dad, I do not expect you to forgive me. I do not expect you to write back. But I needed to say something. I was wrong. Not just about what I did, but about who I was. I let Derek convince me that I deserved your money, your company, your life's work. I let greed poison everything. In here, I have a lot of time to think. I think about Mom. I think about how she would feel if she knew what I did. I think about the person I used to be, before Derek, before all of this. I lost everything. My freedom, my reputation, my father. And the worst part is that I cannot even blame anyone but myself. You did not drive me to this. I chose this. And now I am living with that choice. I am sorry, Dad. I know those words are not enough. I know nothing will ever be enough. But I am sorry. Christine. I read the letter 3 times. Then I put it in my desk drawer and closed it. I did not write back. I was not ready. Maybe I never would be. 2 years have passed since the trial. Henderson Construction is still standing. We won a contract to build a new hospital in Galveston. We expanded into Oklahoma. We hired 100 new workers. Patricia is still my secretary. Harold is still my CFO. Tom is still my project manager. The people who stayed loyal to me, who stood by me when my own daughter tried to destroy me, they are still here. And me? I'm still here too. I am 73 now. I still come to the office every day. I still walk the job sites. I still shake hands with workers and review blueprints and argue with suppliers about prices. Some nights, I sit in my office after everyone has gone home. I look out at the Houston skyline, at the buildings I helped construct, at the roads I helped pave, at the legacy I protected, and I think about what I learned through all of this. I learned that family is not just about blood, it is about loyalty, it is about trust, it is about showing up when things are hard, not just when things are easy. I learned that protecting yourself is not selfish, it is necessary, because there are people in this world who will take everything you have if you let them, even the people closest to you. And I learned that doing the right thing does not always feel good. Sometimes it breaks your heart, sometimes it costs you everything you love, but you do it anyway, because that is what integrity means. If you are listening to this, and you have a feeling that something is wrong with someone close to you, trust that feeling. Investigate. Protect yourself. Do not wait until it is too late. Because in the end, the only thing you truly own is your integrity, your dignity, your self-respect. Everything else can be taken from you. But those things, those you have to give away. And I refuse to give mine away, even for my own daughter. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, leave a comment. Tell me what you would have done in my place. And if you know someone going through something similar, share this story with them. Sometimes, hearing that you are not alone is the first step toward protecting yourself. Take care of yourselves, and take care of what is yours.